The Ithaca budget is once again up for a vote, and some residents say they're experiencing sticker shock. 12 News' Brian Melanson spoke to city officials today and has a breakdown.
With some residents expressing concern over the cost that the $107.5 million budget will have on their pockets, there's been plenty of discussion over Ithaca's 2025 budget. Enough discussion that Mayor Robert Cantelmo needed to clarify what the budget entails.
We are trying to strike that balance between providing stable services and continuity of government while also trying to mitigate any of the financial pain that constituents are feeling.
However, other officials are saying the budget is simply too expensive. Fifth Ward alderperson Margaret Fabrizio told 12 News that the new tax levy will put unnecessarily high tax pressures on residents. The mayor disagrees.
Home values have gone up, folks' net worth have gone up. And yes, the tax levy has gone up to cover some of those costs we were talking about a moment ago, but it has increased at a rate that is lower than the overall taxable property rate. We recognize the pinch that folks are feeling. We don't think this is going to be something we see year over year, but we really have to do what's right for the city, in the long-term scheme.
Despite some outward criticism from the residents, including a petition circulating on change.org against it, Mayor Cantelmo says he's hopeful the budget's potential can still be an improvement to the community.
It is rebuilding our people and our infrastructure after a really difficult period of time. And yes, we're feeling a pinch, but it is a pinch that's being felt in municipalities all across the country.
Mayor Cantelmo told News 12 he expects robust community engagement as well as some pushback from council. He remains largely optimistic, though, that the budget will be passed.
I don't think we're going to see much change, and I think we're going to see a budget adopted.
Brian Melanson, 12 News, Tompkins County.
Community comments for Ithaca residents are going on as we speak, as the budget is up for approval during tonight's council meeting. We'll have more from the meeting at 10 and 11 tonight.